Hello friends, this is Scott, and we're down at the Homestead family room, and I'm talking today about my sweet potatoes and why I still haven't planted my sweet potatoes up to this point. And we're way late. Sweet potatoes probably take 100, maybe 110, 15 days for them to fully mature. But down here at the Homestead, we have a late frost, so we can't put them in the ground because sweet potatoes are one of the most frost intolerant plant that you can have. So if you put them out too early, they're going to die on you. But right now I'm way too late. It's the end of June, and I haven't got them in the ground, and there's a reason for that. And I want to show you something kind of interesting that I had happen to me this year. Now I got an early start on putting my sweet potatoes and just basically buying them at the store and sticking them in water. I use these little chicken waters. They work pretty well. Or I just take, like this one, I just take, I had a couple matchsticks, and I just poked them in there and set them in the water and let them root. And this is what happens on a normal sweet potato. And I did put these in, I thought at the right time. I think it was March, 1st of March. But yeah, I'm gonna show you something what's supposed to happen. Okay, is what happens is you get this great root structure, and then you have the slips that grow. And what you do is you pull these slips off, just pull them off, okay? Take any of these lower stems off, lower branches, and just dip them right into water, and then they root. And I'm gonna show you that here in a minute. That's how you get your sweet potato slips that you put in the ground. So again, this one turned out just the way it's supposed to, okay? But it took forever for the roots to come out of this plant, for this to really start growing. And these slips grow pretty quick, so I picked them off the other day, and I've already got more here that I can use. Okay, so I'll put those and I'll re-root those. But I'm getting to the point where I may not have enough time for these sweet potatoes to fully mature, because again, the first frost at the Homestead could be maybe the second week of September. Last year we were worried about the tomatoes getting froze out and not getting any ripe tomatoes, because I didn't even get a ripe tomato until literally September 12th. That was my first mature tomato. But then I had, no frost, and so we harvested a ton of tomatoes. So I'm hoping that the same thing's going to happen this year with sweet potatoes. If they don't, then we'll have immature potatoes or nothing at all. So we'll see. Now, planting this late, it's hot. It's in the 90s right now down here, high 80s to low 90s, and yeah, these may have a hard time, getting established and trying to keep them wet and everything, because they may have some transplant shock. But I want to show you something interesting. Again, the normal roots. But I planted this one, same grocery store, same everything, nothing. But it is starting to sprout some tops now. But again, this is, way late. I could probably get a few slips off this, but there's no roots coming out of here. I wonder why. I even flipped this one upside down and back and forth trying to get it to root. So it's been totally soaked, this whole potato. And yeah, no roots. So I did not get, it's not even that soft on the bottom. So I don't get why that one did not root. It's been sitting in water for months. But let me show you what you get when you grow your own. And a lot of times people want to get certified, disease-free sweet potato slips, but yeah, I don't do that. There we go. So there's plenty of slips, lots of roots. And I'm just gonna go put these in the ground, but I've got to build a bed today. Find a good one here just to show you, but yeah. When you see people plant them on YouTube, a lot of times they just come with the slips. They're not even pre-rooted. So these are rooted, and I'm hoping that they're not going to deal with the transplant shock when I put them in the ground. Now I had to go out and buy some more bags of the organic compost, supposedly from Miracle-Gro. So yeah, we're going to make a new bed today, and then we're going to make sure it's got plenty of organic matter in there. I'm going to water it really well once I plant these. I'm just going to plant them probably 8 to 12 inches apart. Because some sweet potatoes, they'll just, where they produce sweet potatoes is right underneath the plant, which is, I believe, these. That's what, all the ones I've ever bought from the grocery store, I've always put them on right below where you put the initial slip. Others will send out runners, and then they'll root, and then they'll produce potatoes from those too. So we'll see what these are. I assume they were the same kind of varieties that I've always got, again, just from the grocery store. But yeah, we're gonna put these in the ground. I'm not even sure how many I have here, but I've got quite a few. So let's hope that we have enough time to get these sweet potatoes to maturity, but you never know. We won't know that until it gets to the end. What we do though with sweet potatoes is we wait till the first frost comes in the fall, and it kills off the tops, and then that supposedly makes the sweet potatoes sweeter, so we don't harvest until that happens. So let's hope for another late frost this year. If not, maybe we'll get some immature sweet potatoes. I'm not the biggest sweet potato eater, but they're very healthy for you, and well, you know, my family likes them. So let's hope that I'm not too late. I'm a month late at least. So, but it was because they didn't root. They didn't produce slips very timely. So next year, I think I'm gonna have to do a little earlier. I know in the past years I've done it too early. I did them and started in January, and I had slips that were just huge, and they were just way too big, and they didn't transplant well. So, yeah, maybe this will be the perfect year, and maybe the perfect storm. We'll get some sweet potatoes, but not holding my breath on this one. So let's go make a bed. I got to create a new bed out there and get the soil turned and get some weeds done, and I'm gonna enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day. It's a little hot, but yeah, we're gonna get some sweet potatoes in the ground. Let's go plant. So here we are at the main part of my garden, and as you see on the left there's some green beans that have come up. I got to replant a few there. Their germination wasn't great. I don't want to put the sweet potatoes right next to them in the bed because the sweet potatoes will spread out. But here we go. This is why you don't let your chickens out in the garden. I let the two older ones out today, and this is what's happening. They're just doing a sample of every broccoli or cauliflower I have here, or cabbage. And so, yeah, as you see, the broccoli is coming in. I'll show you a little bit better of that, but I got to get him out of here, or get her out of here, because she's up to no good. But here's a quick look at the broccoli, and yeah, the heads are forming on about every other one. So, not sure how big they're going to get. Again, once you harvest the main head, you'll get some side shoots. So I'm hoping for a good brassica harvest this year, and probably I might even buy some more and put them in for a fall harvest. But there's the enemy. We have the green grasshoppers this year, so we've got quite a few of those. So first step, though, in creating a new bed is I'm just going to turn the soil over because, again, this has been sun-baked and not a lot of organic matter here. So I'm just going to take the shovel and just flip the dirt over, get rid of the weeds, and yeah, break up some of the clumps, because that's important, because with root crops you want to have loose soil. I should double dig these, but yeah, I'm in kind of a hurry today, so I'm just going to do the one dig. So got her down, turned over, and we're ready to add the the Miracle Grow. It says organic, so we're hoping that's what it is. So that'll give us some nutrition, and we'll just go ahead and dump those out onto the bed. As you see here, they're feeling pretty full, so they're kind of hard to get open there unless you tap the bottom a little bit. But yeah, just spread them out on top. And to get in the future, I want to do the lasagna method, where I'm just adding compost on top and let the organic life come up and pull those nutrients into the soil. But again, with new beds, you got to do a little bit of work and do a little digging, because this ground is kind of hard and it's got a lot of clay in it. So, yeah, just use 2 bags for this bed and just spread it around. And again, nothing fancy, but I do want to turn it in, because I want that manure in, some organic matter in the soil. So I'm not going to bore you with too much shoveling here, but yeah, just got to flip it in and get it all mixed in, because that'll help the plants take off, and also help retain some moisture. So that'll help with the transplant shock, hopefully. Then as simple as taking a rake and just raking her out, get rid of some of those weeds there. Again, I have a bed in between the beans in this bed that I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. But yeah, I'm not going to plant. I want to keep the sweet potatoes away from the beans a little bit. So it's probably still too close, but yeah, we'll see if these things even grow. But I think they'll grow. I think I did the same thing at the school garden a couple of years ago, and they transplanted, and it seemed like they all died. And but I had a great sweet potato crop, big sweet potatoes. So hopefully that'll happen here. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Just going to lay these out on the top of the soil, and I am picking the ones that have the most root structure. And then I'll see if I have any extra space, and I'll use the ones that you see me chucking off to the side there. But I want to use the best ones in the bed, and then again I'll fill in with the others if I need to. I'm probably going to put in, I think, 20, 25 of these slips. I think so all this bed would fit. Didn't count them, I don't remember. But yeah, simple process though. Just lay everything out so I know kind of what I'm doing. And yeah. But yeah, the sweet potatoes are a fun crop when you do get a harvest, because they tend to grow really, really nice. And then planting them is simple. As I have this little hoe and a rake tool, and I'm just cutting a slit into the soil, and I'm just shoving those slips down into that slit. So it's really easy to plant. You don't need to dig a hole. You just need to create a little bit of space, and then just get the roots all covered and get them down there probably 4 or 5 inches, and call it good on that. Now this tool has really come in handy. It was one of the tools I inherited from the previous owner, and yeah, this one handles just perfect. So yeah, get it right in there and get her done. And again, sweet potato slips are really easy to plant. So yeah, I'm not gonna show you every one of these putting in, but yeah, I'll show you a few of them here, but as quick as it is. So 25 slips went in, within just a few minutes. Now working my way up the other side, you get a better view, kind of what I'm doing here. This is a little bit of a better angle, but yeah, just simple. And again, this is perfect, just enough to loosen the soil, create a little bit of space, get that slip down in there, and just push her in, make good soil contact, and yeah, that's all it takes. But yeah, this bed wasn't that big, but I am going to try to cram as many sweet potatoes as I can in here. And yeah, again, these are the type I believe that'll grow right underneath the original slip. So yeah, there'll be space. And if we do have a extended summer, we'll have some good sweet potatoes, I think. But we just got to see if they survive that initial transplant shock, because it is hot, and it's hard to get any of these type of plants to get established when it's this hot. But there we go, all planted. And yeah, as you see, there's I don't know, I should have counted them when I was narrating this video, but I didn't. But there's a little bit of a close-up look at them, and they will wilt down, so they're all going to look like they're dead. That's just part of the process. And then after maybe a few days, we'll see which ones are popping back up in the evenings. But first step, though, is like everything, is you got to water it in heavily. And again, I watered this really a lot because it was just totally dry. I haven't been watered this area. And I had some grass clippings from the last mow, so I'm going to go ahead and mulch those around. And that's very important because, again, with this heat, these plants could definitely dry out, and hopefully this will help. And when I'm gone out of town for a couple days, I'm hoping these grass clippings will keep these plants alive till I get back to put some more water in. And once they root, they'll be fine. But until that initial, the roots start expanding, they're definitely at risk to dry out and die off. So yeah, just took a few minutes to use what I had, and I had enough to do this bed. And just delicately around. It's no big deal. I'll put more on later once the plants get bigger, but it's all about materials, and I don't have any other mowings at this point, so that's what I got. So there we go. So it's all mulched in, and but we have dry mulch on top, which isn't a good thing because that could wick some water away from the plants. So again, you water before you mulch, and then you mulch, and then you water after you mulch. So yeah, and again, you see all those plants are drooping. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next little while, and I'm hoping, it'll be, stay tuned, it'll be a couple months before we know if we get anything out of this harvest. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.